Historian Rene Girard has a theory that I want to share with you. And his theory is that perhaps we domesticated dogs and cats not because we loved them, but because we wanted to sacrifice them. Now, I'm not advocating animal sacrifice of your dogs and your cats, but stay with me for a moment. Do you know how hard it is to take a wolf or a mountain lion and make that wolf domesticated to live next to your bed at night? How safe do you feel on night number 1? Domesticating dog project. Experimental evening number 1. Tonight, we brought the wolf into our room. We are trying to make the wolf our new Fido. We want him to be our family pet. We figure it'll take a while, but we could do it. You know, this takes generations. The reality is, to domesticate dogs and cats, we had to take them from wolves and mountain lions to make them chihuahuas. That's a jump, right? To get from a wolf to a chihuahua. That's going to take generations. In fact, that's going to take hundreds of years. You don't have that kind of time. Did you know if we were going to domesticate the wild and make them tame, we were going to have to do it as a concerted effort across generations. We were literally going to have to share notes with our grandkids. Here's what you need to do with the wolf on day 300, because this will be the wolf, and this is the only way that we're going to bring him down. And so why bother? It's too hard to do. And so his theory was maybe we did it because we needed to sacrifice, and the most proper sacrifice is always something that we love, because it means nothing to sacrifice something we don't. Well, when I heard that theory, my first thought was, that's kind of far-fetched. Probably not. But then I remembered the Torah. And in the Torah, on the night of the Passover, 4 days prior to the Passover, God said, take your choicest lamb, take your best looking one. The one that's the cute, snuggly, cuddly one. The one with no spots and blemishes. The ones your kids loved when they saw him. Take him and move him into your house on the 10th day of the month. And on the 14th day of the month, sacrifice him as an offering before the Lord and spread his blood on the doorpost and the doormantle. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And for a long time, I thought, what's the purpose of bringing him into the house for 4 days? Let me ask you. Go pick the most cuddly, beautiful lamb we've got, little Sally. Bring that lamb into the house. Let him sleep in your bed for the next 4 days. You talk to him, you feed him, you hug him, you kiss him, you love him. On the 4th day, we're going to kill him. You go, that's cruel. I think it was this understanding, is that it really only matters if we love it and it hurts to lay it down. So Christ became us. Experienced our weaknesses, felt our failures. And the more we believe that about Jesus, the more we lean onto his sacrifice for all of our stuff. Because we believe that maybe he identifies with my pain. He understands it. He was hurt. He was betrayed. He lost a loved one. He saw failure. You go, well, don't say Jesus failed. I don't have to. I failed. And if I failed, and I truly believe that Jesus bore my failure, Jesus must have felt what it feels like for Paul White to fail. Now go ahead and put yourself in there too. Because the moment you do that, then you might realize that that's Jesus as a man. That's his 4 days in your house being nice and cuddly, getting to know you, getting to know us. Only in Christ then, the more human we make Jesus in that moment, the more we can identify with him as our sacrifice. It's no longer a lamb. See where Jesus trumps all of the Torah regulations of sacrifices. When you look at Jesus, you go, that's a real guy. That's not a lamb. That's not a goat. That's not a bullock. That's not a pigeon. That's not a turtle dove. That's a real man. He suffered for me. He died for me. That's not fair. Why would anybody take my sin? And then when we can accept that as, this is why Paul starts pitching the cross as an expression of love, not defeat. Because the cross is not a place of defeat. He says the cross is a place where God expressed his love for you. The cross is a place of great victory. It's foolishness to some and a stumbling block to others. But to those of us who are being saved, it's the power of God. Why? Why to us that are being saved? Because when we look at the cross, we see us in him. And if we can see us in him, then we can see him dying as us, not for us. And if he dies as us, then we can say, then it's been paid for somewhere. Why should I have to pay for it twice? That's why the great tragedy is trying to get people to pay for their sins through guilt and shame and works and effort, because it denigrates the powerful sacrifice of the cross. But I think it also denigrates the ability of grace to move forward if we deny them the right to be weak from that day forward. Don't deny them the right to be weak. Being weak is an expression of the fact that they need to walk by faith, that they need to trust God for His grace, that they need to realize they don't have it all figured out, and that in realizing they don't have it all figured out, they can walk into the place that He would have them walk